Hey, we're with Leif Vollebekk, and thanks so much for taking the time to join us.
It's my pleasure.
Inland is your record, and you've re-released it on Nevada Records like this week, right?
Yeah, what day are we?
Today is Wednesday, I think.
There it is. Tuesday.
Yesterday.
There.
Cool.
I remember. I thought it was yesterday. Yeah.
Um, why the re-release of the record?
Um, I don't know. I think Nick at Nevada thought he wanted other people to hear it, and I wasn't going to argue with that.
Right.
And it's kind of an important record for me, and so it kind of gives it a little bit of a second wind before I release anything else. And it's kind of part one of whatever is to follow, I guess.
It's an interesting story that you grew up in Ottawa and I guess moved to Montreal, but also spent some time in Reykjavik, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And how much of that experience influences the music you make? I mean, obviously, you're bilingual, you sing in English and French.
Yeah.
But the Reykjavik piece is also probably pretty important to you, right?
Yeah, well, I ended up leaving off 2 Icelandic songs off the record because I thought it was a bit, I don't know, it was a bit too much. But yeah, it's pretty important. Just it's a different headspace just to be in Scandinavia in general, and it's really, I find it relaxing. And I think, yeah.
Sigur Rós is one of the bands that influenced the music you make, right?
Yeah, I mean that's like one of the most important bands around, I think, right now, and it's just the textures that they get is just pretty outstanding. Yeah.
Let's talk a bit about your influences, and you know, we ask everybody who sits down with us to talk about maybe 5 records that inspire the music they make.
Yeah.
What would those records or artists be for you?
I think Miles Davis's Porgy and Bess with Gil Evans, and Pet Sounds, Blood on the Tracks, Sigur Rós Talk, and then I don't know, maybe Zuma, maybe, I don't know.
That's great. I mean, that's pretty eclectic, right? I mean,
Really?
Yeah, I mean, when you talk about Miles and Bob Dylan and Sigur Rós, like that's a pretty eclectic mix.
Oh, okay.
You don't think so?
I feel
right?
like it's like everyone that I know that listens to like one of them listens to the other.
Right,
I feel
yeah.
like it's, it's like kind of like that. If you're into, kind of like mission
Right.
music, with like a bit more drive, then it's all there.
When did you start playing guitar?
Last year at high school, like maybe like, I would have been, how old are you like 16?
16, 17?
15 maybe? Probably 15. I'm going to go
Yeah.
with 15.
Because the thing that impresses me is how much sound you actually get out of the instrument compared to a lot of other singer-songwriters who for them it's about not that it's not for you, but
Yeah.
the song itself and the lyrics of the song and the melody of the song. But I find your playing to be quite extraordinary.
Oh, well, that's really nice of you. Thanks. I don't know. I feel like the playing is kind of sets the. Without it, you don't really have much of a landscape to paint the words over. So I think I've always, even if it's a simple song, I think it's important to be prominent in the playing just to get it out there.
You're playing songs from Inland, obviously, on the road, but are you working on other material?
Yeah, I actually just finished recording another record just a few weeks ago. So which makes sense because this is a re-release.
Right.
I'm telling you, it makes sense, I swear. So I'm doing kind of like half and half on the road, just
Right.
half new, half old, and it's kind of nice revisiting the songs from Inland right now because it's been long enough that I can kind of have a bit more distance and enjoy playing them again.
How long till a new record drops?
I don't know, maybe the fall or something like that.
Right.
Yeah.
Let's talk a bit about the road and how important it is for a singer-songwriter in this country to really test the road and test the songs that you play. How many dates a year do you play? Like, you're just constantly on the road?
I guess. It's not like I'm so organized that I could play as many as like, Bob or somebody
Right,
like
right.
that, So it's really more where I can book. So I don't know. I play about twice a week on average, maybe. So
Right.
it's not that crazy. I'm going to say over 100 shows.
Wow.
I might be lying to you.
Well, yeah, and I won't know.
Okay. Let's just say 100. So it sounds right.
Yeah.
Sounds right.
But is that where an
Doesn't
artist
sound right.
where an artist like yourself who has to expose your music probably to a lot of people is touring a big part of what you do?
Yeah, I think, I mean, at this stage of the game, it seems like everybody's on the internet, and that's kind of a weird way to get known. Sometimes it works, but it seems like it's pretty, it's a pretty bad odds, So
Yeah.
I feel like just going and playing and opening up for as an opening act. That's usually the best. For me, that's been the best way to sell records and have people hear me and stuff. So yeah.
How much do you use social networking? Like, are you on Twitter and Facebook and all that stuff?
Not really. It's kind
No.
of this. I don't feel comfortable I feel I don't understand like because it used to be like anybody that I listened to didn't have any sort of real like intimate public persona, you
Right.
know, and I don't feel that that's necessary. But I'm sure that it is. But for me, I don't feel comfortable doing it.
Right.
So I have MySpace because you can just go know when what the songs are when they're playing.
Right.
But in general, it's just kind of like a very limited, you know.
One of the things that I found interesting about the record is that you do sing in English and French, and obviously somebody who lives in Montreal, that's probably an important thing, right?
Yeah, as soon as you get kind of south of Mount Royal, it seems that saying anything in French is really important, and north of it seems to be
Right.
completely irrelevant. It's kind of weird, but it helps a lot. And some of the nicest people that have been helping me out are completely Québécois, and it's been wonderful being able to like kind of live in two worlds, even though they're kind of the same. There's like sometimes there's a bit different.
Anglophones tell me that one of the reasons why Montreal is this up-and-coming place, this hotbed for new music, is because the Anglophone music community specifically is so tightly knit. And, you know, there's people like Patrick Watson and that group, the people from Stars, that it's a very tight-knit community. But you're kind of towing the fence on both sides, right?
I guess. I don't know. I think maybe they're tight knit. I don't really know the people like the people that I play with and the friends of mine that are all musicians in Montreal. That's really tight knit for sure. It's not like I'm hanging out with like these other bands that you're talking about.
Right.
But it is pretty small and really supportive.
Right.
Mostly, people come to each other's shows and play on each other's records. And maybe I guess it's smaller than Toronto, but it feels just as lively. You know.
Right.
Yeah.
Cool. Thanks so much for taking the time. Really appreciate it.
Oh, it's my pleasure.
Before we go, are there any bands that you want to tell us about from Montreal that you don't think are the who are the up and comers in that scene and some of your friends?
Yeah, my friend Charlotte Cornfield is amazing. She's like Joni Mitchell, except alive, like at the age of 21 again. I think she's 21 now. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I think the Lovely Feathers guys mentioned her when they were in too. Do you know those guys?
Yeah. They probably would. 'Cause she's rocking.
Cool. We
Yeah.
got to check her out. Well, thanks so much for taking the time, man. Really appreciate it. And thanks for the 2 songs. They sounded great.
Cool. Thanks a lot.
Thanks.